Ooh, ooh, I wasn't expecting that. This doesn't feel cheap in any way. It's not plasticky. This video is not sponsored by Shimbol, but they did reach out to me and said if I would be interested in reviewing this product. I don't want this to be fancy, whatever. I just want to get straight to it. I'm also going to be telling you some of the key features and their practical value to you as a filmmaker. This thing has 1200 nit brightness. Now, what does this really mean? Imagine that you are filming outdoors. It's a sunny day, the sun is blasting down and everything. You know, sometimes it just so happens that you're not even able to see what's on your phone. Well, that's because the nit brightness of your phone isn't high enough. With this monitor, even when the sun is beaming down, you are still very, very able to see what this thing is going to be showing, especially because a lot of monitors in this price range, they do not, most of them, I believe, offer like 1,000. So this going up to like 1,200, 1,200 is quite practical. And you can literally see most of the things clearly while you are framing your shot. I should also mention that, first of all, this is an unboxing. I haven't done my real world review of this product yet. So that's gonna be in the next video right after this one. For now, this thing has 1200 nits of brightness, and that's really impressive, especially at the price point of this thing. I'm really curious to see if it really delivers on that. The next thing about this Shimbol M5 is that it has 1,000:1 contrast ratio. Now, hold on, I'm going to explain exactly what that means. Now, in filmmaking, there's something called the highlights and the shadows. The difference between the two of them is what we would usually call a dynamic range, which you would find in most cameras. When that camera sends the feed into something like this, a monitor that has a high contrast ratio is able to show you the highest whites and the blackest blacks. Ooh, that's a bar. A high contrast ratio makes it easier to be able to distinguish between the highlights and the shadows. Now, if your monitor doesn't have a high contrast ratio, in this case, your image is going to appear flat and possibly not showing you the actual representation of what your camera is seeing. But even with that, it's the fact that this thing has a viewing angle of 160 degrees. So which means that if I'm like this, I see everything from my whites to my blacks. If I'm here, I see everything from my white to my blacks. Where does this become useful? I would say, for example, if you are working with someone, you know, you're filming something, whether it's on a professional set or even just a personal set, and you have people just staring over your shoulder, sometimes it's easy for someone to misrepresent the image if they're watching from an angle. But with this thing, what you see in front is exactly what you see. You know, as long as you stay within that 160-degree radius, I think that everyone will see the same image in terms of the quality of the contrast that the camera is sending to this monitor. Once again, this is just really practical for a lot of people. It's the pricing on this relative to what it promises to deliver is just, it's amazing. It's amazing. I know, yes, you're talking about the music. Oh my God, where's the music in this video coming from? Well, guess what? I have you covered. All the music in my video is gotten from Audio or Music Bed. So if you want to sign up for these two platforms, which I think you should, because I think they do offer great licensing models to creatives and filmmakers in general. The link will be in the description of this video. Don't forget Audio and Music Bed. Great, let's get back to the video. The next thing about the M5 that it comes really handy for is the fact that it has support for HLG and HDR content. This might not necessarily apply to a lot of people that I assume would be watching the video, or I don't know, but maybe. HDR stands for high dynamic range and HLG stands for hybrid log gamma. Now, for people who are working in HDR workflows, this feature will ensure that whatever it is that you are filming, it is compatible in real time with this monitor. Now, this is usually something you would get on a high-end production. You'd have to bring in specific and specialized monitoring tools to be able to do that. But with this, you just sort of get that. And now, a practical use case scenario would be if you were making a commercial video or you were making something where they require an HDR workflow. Like, you get to see that in real time without trying to do like any huge post processing or something like that. But once again, I don't necessarily think that is a selling point in my opinion for this, because I don't think the people who want to purchase this will be looking to work in that workspace. But either ways, it is a nice option to have. Now, the next thing, and this is very technical, but I think you should still know, is that this thing has 100% Rec 709 color space with a delta E of 0.6. Yeah, it's a lot, I know, but hear me out. Why does this matter? Why should you even care about this? Accurate colors, very accurate colors. Now, colors are crucial for filmmakers, content creators, for anybody. If you cannot trust the monitor that you work with, I think it's just it's a huge problem. And no shade, but that's why I really don't trust a lot of monitors in the market, because the color representation is usually very different from what the camera is capturing up onto what you see on your monitor, on your screen when you get into post-production. So this, having that level of accuracy, just takes the value of this thing incredibly high. Once again, because of the price point of this, being able to deliver such accurate colors is just, it's great. This will be subject to further testing, and I will definitely make a review of this product again once I get into that mode, because I'm in that mode. This also can affect you personally if you're filming a vlog, if you're filming a wedding, family, portrait, video, anything. And if the colors just look off to you, eventually you're gonna ruin, well, maybe you're not gonna ruin it, but it would just be nice to be able to have something that can give you true to life colors. And this promises that by having 100% of the whole Rec 709 space, which would be really, really nice to test out and see that it's true. Because if it does, oh my God, this really goes up a notch. The next thing as well is that this thing supports a resolution of up to 4K in 25 frames per second, or 4K 30 in Ultra HD. Now, what this, it also supports 24 frames. What does this mean? A lot of cameras now, they're 4K cameras. You have your Sony a7 IVs, your FX6s, your Blackmagic Pixes, whatever camera that you have now. If that camera is a 4K camera, it can send a signal to this monitor and it will work. It doesn't mean that this monitor will show you 4K. It outputs a 1080p signal, but it can receive signals up to 4K. So monitor so good, my battery died. Let's get back to it. Another benefit of this is the fact that this has extensive 3D monitoring tools. You can input your LUT, and I think you can do that through this SD card here. And what that means is if you already have a look that you'd like to process your log footage with, whether it's S-Log, Fuji log, Canon log, whatever those other logs are called, you can input that LUT into this and preview what you will possibly find on your monitor when you are in post-production. So I think it's just really nice because, once again, a lot of monitors before, usually in this price range, didn't even give you the option to be able to have 3D LUTs installed. And they know themselves. I'm not gonna call names, but this offers you that, which is really good. And lastly, in terms of just the general specs on this thing, this beautiful baby here, I just really love the feel of this. Once again, the last thing I'm gonna say is about the build design. This thing has a lightweight aluminum housing with passive cooling. Now, I didn't even think that was remotely possible on something that was in this price to budget value proposition ratio. Now, what does that mean? It means that this body makes this monitor durable. I'm not afraid if I drop this. This thing is literally built like a tank. I could play ping pong with this. It's that durable, but it stays lightweight, and that's where the trick is. It's very solid, but it's also lightweight, which means that this is going to be great. Guess what? For gimbals. This sits right on top of that. You're not gonna have any problem because it is so lightweight. So once again, I'm really impressed with the build design. I think that was the first thing that really stood out to me as soon as I took it out of the box. Now, the passive cooling on the inside makes the monitor silent, which means that you're not going to be picking up any noises if you're going to be filming or if you're going to be recording some type of audio in this case. Now, I would say once again, a practical case is for the gimbal. When you are using this on a gimbal, because it's so lightweight, right? You don't feel the stress on the gimbal. You don't feel the stress on the gimbal. It also just translates into the amount of weight that you as the operator is carrying. I mean, if it's heavier, it's going to be more bulky, but if it's lightweight, you're able to go on for more time. And then because of the silent cooling, it ensures that there is no noise in the track that you are recording, in your audio recordings or things like that. So all of these things are great about this monitor, and I would sort of get into some of the more nuanced specs that we're looking for in terms of the display of this thing. But for now, it's all well and good, but this thing is not 100% perfect. Let me explain why.